Hello all and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Haryanto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. We are streaming to you on Facebook and on YouTube, so be sure to like, comment and share, as well as hit the bell button to be alerted of our videos. I will also have my newsroom colleagues joining me to talk about the stories that got you talking today. Now, first up, it's that time of the year again as the tech industry, especially Apple fans, eagerly wait for the announcements on the latest updates to Apple products. Is there an iOS update? What does the latest iOS offer? Will Siri be able to unravel life's greatest mysteries? Are we finally getting an iPhone that can do all our work? Now, I wish that were really true. What we do know now is Apple is ending iTunes. In the 2-hour keynote at San Jose Convention Center, Apple also laid down the latest offerings, including the updates to Apple's software and new hardware to look out for. To share more on these offerings, I have with me tech correspondent Yip Wai. Welcome, Wai.
Hi.
So Wai, tell us, what is going to happen now that Apple is shutting down iTunes? What's next?
Right. So Apple is shutting down iTunes, and I think very few people will really mourn the loss of iTunes because it has become pretty irrelevant in recent years. The way people consume music now is through streaming. So the way iTunes revolutionized the music industry in the beginning was that you could download music and pay for music for only 99 US cents per song. At the time, it was just mind-blowing because music piracy was rife at the time. But now people just stream music and it's much cheaper and it's easier. So I think very few people use iTunes these days, except to back up their phones or to sync their phones. So I really think it does not really make a difference, except that now iTunes has migrated into 3 separate apps.
Right.
So there's Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple Podcasts.
Right.
And you don't have to worry because whatever you purchased before through iTunes will still be, you still own it.
So just a question though. So now that, because we use iTunes to back up and sync our phones, so how are we going to sync and back up our phones moving forward?
Right. So for Windows users, for now it seems that iTunes will still be available actually.
Right.
So you'll still be able to do that on Windows. But for Mac, when they launched the new operating system in September, you can do it through Mac Finder. So you can still definitely back up, or you can of course back up through iCloud.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
And so of course, apart from the announcement that Apple is ending iTunes, what are the other takeaways from the keynote address this morning?
Okay, so for example, one thing is that they're launching iOS 13, which is the new iPhone operating system. And apparently it's going to launch apps twice as fast and unlock Face ID 30% faster. So anything faster is always better, right?
Right.
And the Apple Watch. Do you have an Apple Watch?
I do, but I'm not wearing it now.
Okay. So Apple Watch is getting its own app store, and that means that you can download apps directly on your wrist without doing it through your phone and then syncing it again. It's just easier to use. And
And I understand that there is also the dark mode about the iOS. What is that?
Okay, the dark mode is very simple. It's just, instead of the blinding white background, it becomes black. So the text instead will be white. And so the main screen will be black, which is great if it looks cool, but it's also great if you want to look at your phone at night. For example, or in a dark room. So, there's all those really annoying people in the cinemas who look at their phones. This will be helpful so that it doesn't blind other people.
Straining to your eyes as well, right? So, with all these announcements that are happening, and even, with the announcement that iTunes is closing down, what are the reactions so far from people?
Okay, so there has been very mixed reactions so far. Obviously, a lot of people are very excited about faster and more efficient operating systems. But at the same time, a lot of people are saying, well, Apple's not saying anything new, really. There's nothing really revolutionary this time around. However, one thing that's great is that they have a new privacy feature called Sign In with Apple. And the way this works is that when you next time when you want to, sign in for things or whatever, sites and apps who ask you for your email, you don't have to give it to them. You can choose to opt out, and Apple will actually forward them a random email. So they'll generate an email to mask your identity.
Okay.
So that's always great. I mean, we don't want to give up too much of our personal
information. Especially in this era where there's a lot of all this compromising data online and all that, right? So it helps with privacy issue.
Exactly.
I'm just looking, glancing through all the comments right now. People are again asking, now that iTunes is stopping, how do we back up once again for viewers out there who've missed the front part?
Okay, so you can back up your if you use Windows PC, you can still do it through iTunes for now. So I guess until they figure out what they're going to do with iTunes for Windows, you can still continue to do that. But if you're a Mac user, when the new operating system launches in September, you can do it through Mac Finder.
Okay, so there you've heard it from Wai. For Windows user, iTunes is still available for you to do so for now. For Mac users, with the new iOS, you can do it via Mac Finder, or like you said, the third way which is to do it through iCloud. Right? There you have it. So for more of on the latest offerings that Apple has just announced during the WWDC this morning, you can head on to our website at www.straitstimes.com. Once again, thank you, Wai, for coming on board to share with us more on the latest announcements.
Of course.
Thank you. Now moving on to our second segment, going against the widely accepted thinking that crime diminishes with age, observers have seen the number of seniors going to prison rise over the last 6 years. Now, this upward trend mirrors that in other countries. Now, last year, 486 criminals aged above 60 were sent to prisons here, a 50% increase from the number in 2013. The state courts also deal with 196 offenders above the age of 65 last year, the highest in at least 3 years. So the question is, who are these elderly criminals? Now, to tell us more, I have journalist Fabian Koh. Welcome, Fabian.
Hi.
Now, Fabian, I understand that you interviewed Johan in your story. What is his story really? How is he like, when you met him?
So, Johan is a 70-year-old man. He's been in and out of jail 8 times, all for drug offences, since he was 21. So, he's twice divorced. Both marriages broke down because of a life of crime. His first marriage ended because his then wife could not take it that he was in prison, so she just dumped him. And his second marriage ended because his then father-in-law found out about his tainted past. And so he spoke to him and got him to leave his daughter, basically. But as the saying goes, a year older, a year wiser. Well, not for Johan. He did not get any wiser. But he realized that after his last stint ended in 2017, he realized that there were like new smartphones on the market that he was not aware of. There are new transport lines that he didn't know how to take, and that basically he needed to smarten up. For example, when he went in until he came out, the entire downtown line was built and went into operation. So it's quite fascinating.
So it was like a new world for him when he stepped out, right?
Correct.
So when you talked to him and then he talked about turning a new leaf and turning over a new leaf and all that, how was he like? Was he sad when he told the story to you, when he regaled the story to you?
I got the sense that there was a bit of regret, of the youthful folly that went on into adulthood and how he could not get out of that spiral. But I also really felt like now he set his mind to it already, that this time he wants to stay out for good. That he will tap on every support system he has to stay on the right path and stay out of jail.
Johan is of course one of the profiles. There was the other one where our colleague Kara interviewed, Peter, also not his real name. These are the few people that you guys spoke to. But on the whole, we want to have a better understanding. Who are these elderly criminals really? What is their profile, and why do they commit these crimes? Because like we said, as the saying goes, as you get older, naturally, with age, crime tends to diminish as well. So why do they still commit these crimes then?
Okay, so the group that Kara and I looked at, were those who are in their 60s and above, and they are mostly repeat offenders. So you see from the prison stats, that almost 9 out of 10 of last year's inmates were aged 65 and more, had been admitted at least once.
Yeah.
Yep. So the top 3 crimes that they committed were causing hurt, traffic offences, and like Johan, drug-related offences. Yeah. They keep going back to crime. It's because of things like social isolation and financial difficulties.
Right.
So when they come out of jail, they are unable to adjust back to normal life, and they feel like they have nothing to lose. So they just keep reoffending. They also lack a certain
social support, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So their families, for example, may have like given up on them already, and you know, it really feels pretty
difficult for them. Yeah.
Correct.
And then thirdly, of course, on the employment front.
Yeah, they are unable to find employment because of old age, lack of work experience, and of course their criminal record. So they turn to what they know best, which is breaking the law.
Breaking the law, right. And of course, Fabian, that said, fortunately for Peter and Johan, the 2 profiles that at least you and Kara interviewed, they want to do good now, and they've gone through rehabilitation, as it were. So what are some of these rehabilitation processes that are in place, so that they don't go back to they don't revert to their old ways?
Okay, so we take a step backwards first. So when they are in prison, there are actually features like grab bars and handrails. They have been in place since 2015 actually, to cater to the increasing elderly population in there. And in fact, some prisoners are allowed to hold walking sticks and crutches to move around, which is quite unusual because usually prisoners, you want to give them something which they could potentially use as a weapon, right? Yeah, and so rehabilitation-wise, they have programs in there which help them to learn new skills, so that when they go out, they can find
reintegrate nicely into society.
And once they are outside, there are help groups like ISCOS. They help them readjust to society, slowly but surely. But okay, so one thing to note here is that experts actually say that this whole thing about rehabilitation for elderly ex-offenders, right? It is still very, very much new territory. For the very fact that it goes against the widely accepted thinking that crime diminishes with age, So that's why there hasn't been much research done into this area. So a criminologist spoke to said that the structure of a rehab regime for elderly criminals you would expect something that's very different from their younger counterparts. Like you have to consider factors such as they spend less time outside, they meet less people, so they are less likely to hang out with bad company, and they get physically weaker because of the fact that they're very old, they're unable to commit much crime. So, if you ask me, this is a very interesting area for the criminal justice system to address and explore.
And explore further, right? There you have it. You heard it from Fabian. Of course, Kara can be here to share as well the story. Now, we do have some comments in the comment section saying that, interesting story and all that. Now, for those of you, of course, who haven't already read the pieces that were written by Fabian as well as Kara, you can visit our website at www.straitstimes.com. Of course, you won't be able to see the faces of these 2 profiles. There is also a video, nicely taken as well. There is also a video on the 2 stories, so you can watch those as well. Once again, thank you so much, Fabian, for coming on board to share more on the trend. It seems as though that there is a rise in elderly committing crimes. And those are our top stories of the day. For more news and videos, do log on to our website, that is www.straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Haryanto, and of course, to our Muslim friends, we would like to wish everyone Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. And of course, to our other friends, have a good midweek break tomorrow. And do join us on Thursday, same time, for more stories on A Big Story.